I was sickened. I was sickened by the standing ovation. I felt like Hollywood is just spineless, en masse. And it really felt like, oh, this is a really clear indication that we're not the cool club anymore.
There was some question today about if anyone else had walked from the audience and done that, they would have been escorted out by security or maybe even arrested. The police asked Chris if he wanted to file charges. They asked Chris, do you want to file charges? And Chris apparently said no, he did not.
He doesn't want the hassle. I'd announced this morning that I was suing Will for $200 million because that video is going to be there forever. It's going to be ubiquitous. You know, that insult is going to last a very long time. If you want to yell from the audience and disapprove or show a disapproval or say something on Twitter or whatever, you do not have the right to walk up on stage and smack somebody in the face because they said words.
No, I agree. I think we all agree on that. I just thought, Jim, that it escalated to that. You know what I mean? That it escalated to that level.
It didn't escalate. It came out of nowhere because Will has something going on inside him that's frustrated, and I wish him the best. I really do. I don't have anything against Will Smith. He's done great things, but that was not a good moment. It cast a pall over everybody's shining moment last night. You know, a lot of people worked really hard to get to that place and to have their moment in the sun and to get their award for the really hard work they did. And it is no mean feat to go through all the stuff you have to go through when you're nominated for an Oscar. Yeah. It's a gauntlet of devotion that you have to do. And it was just a selfish moment that cast a pall over the whole thing.
For that, he didn't do that. That joke was not worthy of the reaction. If he was going to have a reaction, I think that Will should have done the man thing, was step to him afterwards in that press room, and if he wanted to slap Chris then, he could have slapped Chris in the press room and seen how it went. But see, Will laughed. But see, he laughed at the joke till he saw Jada's reaction. Now, Will, now, let me tell you something. That's a Hollywood move now. To go up there on national TV, slap another black man, turn around your back and walk off because you know he can't do nothing. See, and I know this. I know he know this because Will been in Hollywood long enough. So now to turn your back and walk off, you're going to slap the dude and then turn around and walk off, you know in real life that ain't the way this going to go. You already know. But you know what, though? And Rock is a Jersey boy. So no. So, and I didn't think the moment was that. And I think he overreacted, like Carla said. He paid too much into the moment. His acceptance speech, that was raggedy, apologizing to the Academy. But here's what I think is going to happen.
So when that you're walking up to go fight, you don't slap them and then turn around. That's the last thing that you do. But he knew Chris wasn't going to hit back. So it was a power play. And that made sense to him irrationally in his highly emotional state.
When this go down and wake up the right way, there's going to be some type of banning from the Oscars.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Because look, they took Kanye off the Grammys for saying
a racial slur. Trevor Noah.
They took him off the Grammys. The Oscars is all Hollywood is about. It's their biggest moment. And for you to do that on the biggest moment,
they don't condone violence. The Academy does not condone violence.
Denzel told him in your biggest moment is when the devil comes for you.
Yeah.
You should have handled that totally different, man. He owes Rock an apology.
But you know what, a public apology. Just like publicly. I was waiting for that during his speech last night. I was waiting for him.
Let me tell you what I think this is.
I apologize.
All
crime. But for all of these jokes and the rampant commentary.
I was waiting for him.
Let me tell you what I think this is.
Brother, I apologize.
But through all of these jokes and the rampant commentary that's being offered, there is a conversation that is being neglected, a truer assessment of what we observed on that Oscars stage. For the first time, we saw the real Will Smith. Not a Fresh Prince, not a survivor of a zombie apocalypse in I Am Legend, not a crime-fighting cop in the movie Bad Boys or the Hancock superhero, but the real Will Smith, an incredibly broken man and the residual product of a directionless society that is filled with them.
Oh, she's about to go off, but I agree with her so far on that point. The idea that he's been acting so long, he's so used to putting on for the camera, how much of him is really true? How much of him is actually Will Smith versus the Will Smith, the public figure?
The kind of society that produces men that look to their more domineering wives with their tails planted firmly between their legs for instruction on what and who they ought to be in every room.
Go off.
The truth is that off the big screen, Will Smith has been spiritually annihilated by his wife.
That's a fact.
Don't forget, it was Jada Pinkett Smith who openly shared with the world how she cheated on her husband, remember? And with who? Her son's friend.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jada carried out an extramarital affair with a young man who was at first friends with her son. Then she dragged her puppy dog husband out onto the world stage and told the public while making him sit through it, listen to it, and agree that she had the right to do what she did.
You forgot to mention friend's son with mental health issues. Y'all always seem to leave that out. Okay? Let's keep going.
Don't believe me? Take a look yourself.
During that time, launched into an interaction with August. What do you feel like you were looking for?
I just wanted to feel good. It had been so long since I felt good.
I feel like that husband, like I'm with you at the press conference. I'm that husband. Now I got to be with you at the press conference while you like tell the world about your transgressions.
Well,
Like I love my baby. I'm gonna stand by my baby no matter what.
well, you know, I definitely understand why it would look that way or feel that way, but I actually don't look at it as a transgression at all.
The takeaway from this interview was that they together represented some newer, more progressive form of what it means to be in a marriage, which is to say, not being in a real marriage at all.
Yeah.
Will
Bullshit.
Smith today is someone who should be pitied, not prosecuted in a courtroom or even persecuted in the public eye, but pitied by every person who has the clarity to see how our society, as sponsored by the perversion of these Hollywood types, is falling apart. Will Smith is what Jordan Peterson cautions against. He's nothing more than a casualty in the great war against masculinity.
Whoa.
G.I. Jane, by the way, for those of you who haven't seen the 1997 movie, tells the story of a woman being integrated into the all-male space of the United States military. It is the inspired tale of the loss of one woman's femininity to meet the grueling physical demands of the more masculine environment that she finds herself in. And so, though perhaps not the punchline that Chris Rock had intended,
She would be a good
agree
fit.
that yes, Jada Pinkett would be the perfect individual to play that role in the remake. And not because of her hair, obviously, but because of her success in stripping her husband of any trace understanding of what it means to be a real man.
Wow.
And let me tell you, Will, it isn't slapping a man across the face because your wife tells you to. I'm sorry to say that real manhood is not won on a stage at the Oscars with a meaningless trophy. Rather, real manhood begins and ends in your own household.
Whoa.
It starts with the first step of being able to accurately identify what a good man, what a good woman, and what a good, meaningful relationship even is.
There's a lot of things that I don't agree with Candace Owens on, but when she talks about gender dynamics, when she talks about masculinity, when she talks about femininity, there's like nothing that I can disagree with her on.
And with that, we wish you luck, Will, on your real life pursuit of happiness.
Whoa.
Back though.
She's good.
In his acceptance speech that Denzel told him that at your highest moment, be careful. That's when the devil comes forth.
I'm the devil. If I'm Chris Rock, I'm the devil that's coming for him. I'm coming up out that purple Tom Ford, or Brioni, or a Caesar Antolini. I don't know who that was, but I'm coming up out of that. I'm coming up out of these clothes, but I don't care nothing about that. Man, you can't do that to somebody, Skip. So now comedians, can they not say anything or worried about people coming up on stage? So don't go, listen, if you're sensitive, don't you take your ass to no comedy show. Because these are comedians and they make light of situations. So if you go down there and you got on some bull jive, they're going to make fun of you. If you look like some bull jive, they're going to make fun of you. Chris Rock should have thought about it. I say the joke. The person that I say the joke about, her husband, So now I already feel tension. I feel confrontation. Or I'm getting off the first one. Because the moment I feel confrontation, I got to end it. I'm not finna let you walk up on me like that.
Yeah.
We argue, Skip. We going back and forth. You across the room, and here you come walking towards me. What I think? You coming to offer me a drink? What he should have done is what DC Young Fly did last year when somebody came up on the stage and whipped him. He's protecting his wife. Well, where was her protection of a man when she was at the red table talking about what she was doing with this entanglement? Where was her protection of her husband?
That's a
You're
good
a bigger
question.
man than me. I ain't that big a man.
Let's say that Will Smith started to walk back, and then Chris followed him and then hit the. Oh God, I think it would have done way worse when you think about the goal of black male image and identifying with that. Way worse for that than not. But let's keep it rocking.
And a road high enough for me to take.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
Chris Rock said one of the most mild jokes ever.
Yeah,
it was pretty mild.
Jada Pinkett is bald. Apparently, I didn't know this. I found out after the fact that she didn't shave her head voluntarily. She shaved her head because she's suffering from alopecia.
Yeah, I didn't know this either.
So I don't know if Chris knew this, but Chris says a joke around
G.I.
Jane 2, looking forward to it.
Now, mind you, this is coming from Joe Rogan, someone who has also gone bald and has talked about his hair struggles throughout his show. Okay, let's keep going.
Very mild, just laughed and even said, come on, that was nice. And then Will Smith initially laughs.
Yes.
But it looked like Jada was upset. And so Will changes his tune, walks on stage and smacks Chris Rock in the face at the Oscars. And then says, keep my wife's name out of your mouth.
Yes, he does.
And then he goes, come on, man, that was a G.I. Jane joke. And he screams it out like,
keep my wife's name out your mouth.
I don't know who that is.
His lips were quivering, and he. First of all, that whole scene doing that in that manner in that place is a great example of what's wrong with the glorification of just being able to go up to someone and smack them in the face. Because that is that whole thing was so
I'm gonna disagree
weird.
with you here.
Please do. Well, what is your take?
I want to let you.
Before
I want
my
you to
take.
finish though.
Well, no, you said you were going to disagree with me.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Well, I don't actually think that there's any glorification of violence in the sense of free capability on Will's part.
What do you mean by that?
Well, for one, I don't think that there was any inherent given that you could just get away with it. I think that whatever Will did, he did it, and he was like, whatever comes with it, that I'll have to own up to it.
I don't think he was thinking that far ahead at all.
Maybe he wasn't, but
I
maybe
think
he's
he was
like
being
in this moment.
emotionally fragile.
Probably.
And he acted on impulse.
Sure.
And I think it's a foolish impulse that you do when you know there's no consequences.
If you ever wanted to know what it's like being in a relationship with a predator, what it's like being in a relationship with a narcissistic person, what it's like being in a relationship with a woman who leads a man, then look no further to the Smith family. And it's a damn shame, just like Candace Owens said, that he's a product of the feminist movement, of which he's had to remain silent as his masculinity was stripped out from under him. And what we're seeing now is a broken version, a mentally disturbed version of a man that's at his wit's end with the situation that he wanted. I feel bad for Will at the end of the day, but it just is a life lesson for all of us. Questions, comments, concerns? Y'all already know what to do. Mediocre tutorials and reviews at gmail.com. Hope you guys enjoyed today's compilation. I know that I did. Until next time, YouTube. Peace.